Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. My name is Gülar, and I will be conducting your IELTS speaking test today. Before we begin, please be aware that this session is being recorded for quality and assessment purposes. Could you please tell me your full name?
Definitely. My full name is The Hero Teacher.
Thank you. And your candidate number?
It is 0130013.
Thank you very much. Let's begin. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you enjoy spending time outdoors?
Well, I actually used to spend much of my time outdoors, but when I started working online, I somehow grew more interested in staying indoors. This was primarily due to my online lessons as I work as an English language teacher. And I just became really obsessed with staying indoors.
Is there a particular natural place, such as a park or a mountain or a beach, that you enjoy visiting?
Well, I'm a person who grew up near a beach because my hometown is located at the coast of Caspian Sea. However, as I moved to Baku, the capital, I kind of gave up the idea of visiting natural places. Yes, there is a park near my place, and I do enjoy visiting that park for walking. However, I wouldn't say it's my usual go-to place.
Do you think people today spend enough time in nature?
I am one of those people who actually doesn't spend enough time in nature, and I do know that this is something significantly bad for my health and my well-being, mental well-being. The reason for that is very simple. We are natural human beings and we have to be surrounded by natural places. However, the hustle and bustle lifestyle that we do have has kind of separated us from our fundamental remedy that is being in the nature.
All right, and let's talk about hobbies and free time. What hobbies or interests do you have outside your work and study?
Well, a few years ago, I used to play volleyball and I still would like to play more of volleyball. However, I haven't found a nice team to actually play with. And other than that, I think recently I've started playing a mobile game called Mini Football on my mobile device, and I enjoy it because it gives me the interest, it gives me the necessary time out of my work that I really enjoy.
Do you think it's important to have hobbies?
Well, I wouldn't say it's actually important to have hobbies. It changes from person to person. However, having something that kind of rips you off your work is quite crucial, because if you're always surrounded with your work, then probably one day you'll go crazy. Because again, we are human beings. We are social animals, as Simon Sinek puts it quite beautifully. So if you're not socializing with others, whether it's through a hobby or something else, we definitely are going to feel that negative, how would I say, impact on our lives.
Thank you. Now, let's move on to part two. Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you speak, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make notes if you want, and here's your topic
Okay.
and the paper.
What?
So you will have 1 minute preparation time. It started now. You can start to talk, as I said, for 1 or 2 minutes. Don't worry about time.
Okay. Well, I'm a person who's had significant periods of time in his life. And I specifically have chosen to talk about the time when I started my master's degree in Azerbaijan. It was when I decided to study MBA, and that was a great transition from my original profession, which was oil and gas equipment engineering. What makes this period of time specifically significant to me was that was the fact that I started branding myself as an English language teacher that I had never done before. Well, obviously, I was influenced by my group mates that I was studying together with. And they were all business people, they were all visionary people, and they wanted to have more in their lives. And somehow I told myself, why not to do it? And one of my group mates named Babahan told me to pursue a degree in teaching. And this was alone enough to change my mind and pursue a TESOL degree in language teaching. Personal branding is something that everybody must experience in their lives. And these 2 years that I spent studying MBA at University of Economics actually not only established my personal branding, but also helped me grow as a person. So I became maturer. Well, I think I had been maturer until that time, but these 2 years that I spent with visionary people also helped me understand how people thought about particular issues in the society, which I believe I had lacked until that time. On top of that, I also heavily started investing in my own education, in my own personal progress. Well, um, apart from studying TESOL and CELTA at the time.
Thank you very much for talk. Can you please give me the paper and the pen? All right.
Why?
So now let's move on to part 3. We've been talking about significant periods of personal development.
Yes.
And now I'd like to discuss some broader questions related to this topic. Let's consider the idea of personal growth and change in society more generally. At what age of life do you think people change the most? Like childhood or adolescence or adulthood?
Well, it heavily depends on who we're talking about. I think in our country, people mostly experience the greatest changes of their lives around 25 to 30 when they become actual independent members of the society. Yeah, if we compare it to Europe, obviously, in Europe, I think people somehow experience that fresh start in their lives at around 18, 19 years of age. However, here in our country, because the impact of our families and mentality on a given person is so immense that they kind of stay a child, or somehow they keep their childhood inside alive for longer. That's why I think those 5 years between 25 to 30 years of age are the most important and significant period to one's life.
Do you think people can truly change their personality, or we're like mostly shaped by the way we grow up?
I'm a person who believes in everything, every eventuality, every possibility, every outcome that can happen in the society. And I used to be a different person back in my childhood. I used to be more emotional. I used to be less visionary. In fact, I had no vision whatsoever. When I moved to Baku, however, things have dramatically changed, and I can't sometimes even recognize myself compared to my childhood. So it is definitely possible. However, it also, I mean, a person is also shaped by 5 or 6 people around you. Like if you keep spending time with people that have no vision, they have no real wants from this life, you probably are going to be like them. On the contrary, however, if you spend time with people who always want more, who always work more, and who always put their greatest effort in whatever they do, you'll obviously be like them in the end.
So, what do you think about schools? To what extent should schools focus on developing students' character and values rather than just academic knowledge?
Well, in my opinion, schools have been doing what they've been doing completely wrong. And this is solely focusing on, as you have mentioned, on academic knowledge. And I believe schools are a second home to everybody who is studying there, right? And if that's your second home, then you definitely need to have got something related to your character, something to your your understanding of life. Back in the day, I think I didn't experience it firsthand, but my parents used to tell me that their teachers used to be their parents, even more than their parents used to be to them. And if a teacher can be a second parent, then your character somehow is also shaped and must be shaped. This is my personal opinion, must be shaped by your second parent or teacher. And I think, coming to the question, yes, definitely schools need to take more action when it comes to personal development, both in terms of mentality and understanding of life, their school children.
And how can parents best support their children's personal development without being overprotective?
Oh, in our society, the fact of being less overprotective or not being overprotective is something that I don't believe actually exists. On top of that, I mean, in addition to that, you know, parents in our society don't see their children as individuals. That's the main problem, I guess. They see their children, their offspring, as something or someone who is indefinitely attached to them. So they need to make every single decision so that they can somehow shape their future, which I believe has got merits and drawbacks. Well, merits is that yes, our children, our adults do not have to think too deeply about issues that come across to their lives. However, on the negative side, they don't grow as individuals, which I believe we need more in the society. So, parents should definitely focus and help individuality in their children. However, they should do it in a way that does not interfere with their decision making. So, yes, people may make some bad decisions, and that is life. Nobody's protected from that. Nobody is preserved from that. However, you just need to keep an eye on your child just to help him or her when needed, not before it is needed. And I think some Western countries have implemented, I mean, families in Western countries have implemented this way of upbringing children in the best way possible.
All right. Thank you very much. That is the end of your IELTS speaking test. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you.